Welcome, listeners, to a deep dive into the labyrinthine world of micromanagement. Today, we're not just complaining about overbearing bosses, we're dissecting the psychology behind this pervasive management style, exploring its roots, and examining the strategies for navigating its often frustrating landscape. Micromanagement, at its core, is an exercise in control. But control over what exactly? Is it control over the work itself? Or is it something deeper, something more personal? Organizational psychology studies, particularly those focusing on control theory and locus of control, suggest that micromanagement often stems from a deep-seated need to alleviate anxiety. Think about it. A manager who constantly hovers, who demands to see every detail, is often grappling with a fear of failure, a fear of losing control, or a lack of trust. This isn't to excuse the behavior, but it's crucial to understand its origins. As Edgar Schein, in his seminal work, Organizational Culture and Leadership, emphasizes, understanding the underlying assumptions and beliefs of individuals within an organization is paramount to effective leadership and communication. Now let's address the elephant in the room. Why are toxic managers often micromanagers? It's not a coincidence. The traits that define toxic leadership, narcissism, insecurity, a need for dominance, are inherently linked to the desire for excessive control. A toxic manager views their team as an extension of themselves, a tool to validate their own ego. They cannot relinquish control because they cannot trust anyone else to perform to their exacting, often unrealistic standards. But what about the impact on the team? Studies on job satisfaction and employee engagement consistently show that micromanagement leads to decreased morale, reduced creativity, and increased stress. When employees feel constantly scrutinized, they lose their sense of autonomy and ownership. They become passive, reactive, and ultimately disengaged. So, how do you navigate this challenging situation? Is staying under a micromanager worth it? Does it ever get better? The answer, unfortunately, is nuanced. Firstly, understand that change is rarely immediate. Micromanagement, as we've discussed, is often rooted in deep-seated psychological needs. It's unlikely that your manager will suddenly transform into a paragon of delegation. Therefore, you need to focus on managing the situation, not necessarily changing the person. Here are some strategies grounded in organizational psychology principles. Proactive communication. Anticipate your manager's needs. Provide regular updates, seek clarification on expectations, and document your progress. This can alleviate their anxiety and reduce their urge to micromanage. Establish clear boundaries. While you can't change your manager's behavior, you can control your own. Learn to say no to unreasonable demands and protect your time and energy. Focus on what you can control. Don't waste energy trying to change your manager's personality. Instead, focus on your own performance, your own development, and your own well-being. Seek support. Build a network of trusted colleagues, mentors, or even therapists. Sharing your experiences and seeking advice can help you maintain perspective and emotional resilience. The gray rock technique. As we discussed in previous episodes, this technique involves becoming emotionally unresponsive, like a gray rock, to avoid giving them the attention or reaction they crave. This is especially useful for manipulative micromanagers. Document everything. In cases of genuinely toxic micromanagement, document everything. This protects you in case of any escalation. Now, the crucial question, is it worth it? This depends on your individual circumstances. If you're gaining valuable experience, if you have a strong support network, and if you can manage the stress, staying might be a viable option. However, if the micromanagement is severely impacting your mental health, your career growth, or your overall well-being, it's time to consider other options. As Patrick Lencioni points out in The 5 Dysfunctions of a Team, trust is the foundation of any successful team. Micromanagement erodes trust, creating a toxic environment where innovation and collaboration cannot thrive. Ultimately, the decision to stay or leave is yours. But remember, you are not powerless. You have the ability to manage the situation, to protect your well-being, and to make choices that align with your values and your career goals. Thank you, listeners, for joining me on this exploration of micromanagement. Remember, knowledge is power. Understand the psychology behind the behavior, implement effective strategies, and prioritize your own well-being. Until next time, stay informed, stay resilient, and stay true to yourself.